Okay, looking at your work. Yes, the first pages are notes. So we're going to briefly go over them and discuss what's happening, and then we're going to apply it to our practice questions. So on page 289 in your Think Up Math book, it says for each step of the solution equation or solution of each equation or inequality, identify the property of the equality that can be used to justify the step. We're not going to do all of that. So cross that out. We're just going to discuss what's happening in each step. What that means is the first step here is addition. So I'm going to say that I'm adding first. And then what's happening in the second step with the 8? Divide by 8. Good. So then divide. For number 2, what happens first? We add first. Then what do we do with the 5s? Then we multiply. And I'm doing the opposite of what's happening here. So the opposite of subtraction and the opposite of division. So divide and subtract is what's going on. But in order to undo that, I have to do the opposite. Over here, this is negative 9 times x. So what am I going to do with the negative, 9 at the end? This is negative 9 times x. So in order to get rid of it, I have to divide by negative 9. So then divide. And then what do they do first? What's the opposite of plus 13? I have to subtract first. Down here, what goes on first? The first step is right here. The first step, y'all. Subtract first. Then multiply, because this is a fraction and I want to do the opposite. What do you notice about each first step? It's either adding or subtracting first. And then what do you notice about the second step? Multiply or divide second. That's usually how it's going to be. There may be one anomaly where you multiply or divide first and then add and subtract second. But 9 times out of 10 for this stuff in the state of Texas, when we learn 7th grade math or 6th grade APA, you're going to add first or subtract first on 2-step equations and then multiply or divide in the second step. So going on to the next page, more notes and information because I wrote notes at the top. You are going to review the notes. What are we supposed to do when we're solving 2-step equations? The goal is to isolate the variable. Yes, there will be some crossing out there. Both of them have a goal to isolate the variable. Determine the value that should be added or subtracted from the constant located on the same side as the variable in order to make the constant's value 0. This is where I cancel out. Cancel out. And I'm going to do the same thing with an inequality. This is where I cancel out. And then it says perform the operation, the same operation on both sides. What rule is that called? What rule is that called? The who? The do-do rule. What you do to the left, you do to the right. Lots of do-do in math, okay? Determine the value that should be multiplied or divided. So this is another cancel out. I want my coefficient's value to be 1. Cancel out here and cancel out here. And then it says perform the same thing on the other side. So what rule is that? Do again. And then they add an additional rule here for inequalities. If the coefficient is negative, reverse the direction of the inequality symbol. That means if I'm taking this negative number right here, because here's an inequality, I'm taking this -2. That is a negative coefficient. And I'm going to move it over here by way of division down here. Should have drawn an extra arrow. Boom. Divide by -2. This is where my sign will flip. Okay? What kind of 2 is this? Positive or negative? Does my sign flip then? Nope. And can I flip an equal sign? No. If I take an equal sign and flip it around the other way, it's still an equal sign. Okay? Down here, this is where we put our lessons learned to use. I like to draw a river through the equal sign so that I know which side is left, which side is right. Do not forget that you must do this to both sides. So when I say where, you say both sides. Where?
Both sides.
Where?
Both sides.
Okay. Draw your river. It can be straight, it can be wavy, whatever. What's the opposite of +9?
Minus.
And where do I write -9?
Both sides.
Both sides. -9, -9. What happens to these 9s here?
Cancel each other out.
There's my cancel out. I'm following the rules. Okay, I'm trying to isolate my variable. Bring down the 6b. What's 27 minus 9? 18. Now what? Good. Divide by what?
6.
Where?
Both sides.
So I divide by 6 on both sides. Divide by 6 on the left, divide by 6 on the right. What happens to these 6s?
Cancel each other out.
And what's 18 divided by 6?
3.
B is 3. And how do I check that? I'm going to take out B and put in 3. So let's do it real quick. 6B plus 9 equals 27. 6 times 3 plus 9 equals 27. What's 6 times 3? Pay attention. Mask up. 18 plus 9 equals 27. What's 18 plus 9? 27. Does 27 equal 27? All day. And it's correct. Okay? Over here, draw a river. I'm not going through my inequality sign because I think that looks a little weird, but you can if you want to. It's your prerogative, as long as you know the left side from the right. What do I do first?
Subtract by 10.
Where?
Both sides.
Now what?
Cancel out.
Cross out the 10s. Where else can I cross out the 10s? Well, what's 10 minus 10? 0. I need this 0 to help solve this problem. So I'm going to bring down x over 3 is less than 0. What do I do now? Multiply by 3 because I want to do the opposite of this division by 3. And where do I multiply by 3? Both sides. Times 3 on the left, times 3 on the right. These 3's cancel out. X is less than, what's 0 times 3?
0.
Still 0. Blam. Okay? Over here, what do I notice about my, you okay? Y'all good? Okay, what do I notice about my coefficient? It's negative, so what's going to happen to my sign? Flip. Okay, so down here, P is less than or equal to something. I'm just making myself a note down here. So what do I do first? To where? Add 17 to both sides. So plus 17, plus 17. Then what? Okay, what's 43 plus 17? 60. Still keep my sign. The only time I flip the sign is when this -4 goes over here. These 17s cancel out. -4p. Now what? Where? Divide by -4 on the left. Divide by -4 on the right. Now my sign flips. Cross these out. What's 60 divided by -4? Excellent. Because 4 goes into 60 15 times, and a positive divided by a negative is a negative. Okay. Okay, on page 295, question number 5. It says the solution to a homework problem is given on a number line. What number is this right here? This is 4, then this is 3, this is 2, and this is 1. Okay? If you notice, they have bolded out these lines, or this line over here that's extending to the left. So what is it saying about these numbers to the left of 4? They're less than who? They're less than who? 4. So something is less than 4. Is it equal to 4?
No.
How do we know about the equal to signs?
It is at 4 because the circle's closed.
Good. It's closed. So I can do less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. I said those backwards. Greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. And if it's open, it's just less than or greater than. So I need an equal sign here with my 4. And then what number can I put here? Trick question. Trick question.
You can.
Trick question. Is 3 less than or equal to 4? Is 2 less than or equal to 4? Is 1 less than or equal to 4? What vocabulary word did we talk about that changes? What's another word for change? Yes. So good guess. So what should I put here? A variable. And looking at my answers here, they're using x. So the answer is x is less than or equal to 4. That's how you say that. X is less than or equal to, no, it's not less than or greater than. It's just less than or equal to 4. That's what I need my answer to be. Now, if I look at all of these and I want to go through and find out what inequality matches that solution, guess what I have to do to each one? Solve it. Let's get to work. So if I'm showing my work on separate paper, I'm going to write number 1, -20 is less than or equal to -4x minus 4. Number 2, x over 2, that's half of x, minus 5 is greater than or equal to -3. Number 3, give myself some room. I think I skipped about 5 lines here, or 6. 9.2, show I hope you're paying attention. Otherwise, I'm going to assume you know what to do and you don't need Miss Starling's help. And then number 4, Roman numeral number 4, that is, -3¼ minus 3/4 x greater than or equal to -6 1/4. That's a lot in that one problem. I think I should do that one first to get it out of the way. What can I do with my fractions to make my life a little easier? Not mixed number, but decimal. And if they have a 4 at the bottom, is that an easy decimal or is that a repeating decimal? It's an easy one. So what's -3 1/4 as a decimal? -3¼ How do you write a quarter as far as money goes? Thank you. -3.25. Okay, what about the other ones?